Right. Um, talk with that. Guess we can't do anything with this.
These poor people. This isn't the treatment that they were promised upstairs by the cushioned seats and lush carpets. Is that the cure for soul sickness? To be thrown into a cell and subjected to the whims of your captor?
What were you expecting? Kinda winces. I have seen the sick and the mad exiled, or else treated like contagious vermin, but I cannot believe that this is the kindest alternative. But if all were treated like this, the sanitarium would never survive. What did these patients do to warrant such conditions? Well, most of them are murderers. They're extremely violent. Don't have resolve. There are just as many who come here and are cured of their ills. People who would otherwise be cast aside. I hope so. Anna takes a deep breath. You're probably right, it's just hard to see. Let's be on our way. This place gnaws at the soul. I think that's probably a reasonable reaction, but it's also sort of rubbish. Because you're sort of uh, I I can't find the English word for it. You're basically drawing from your own experience, and your own experience probably with normal, more or less normal people. They might have disagreeing opinions about things, but they're not broken people. I mean, these guys can be just people that who just stab you in the neck because you didn't do anything. You walked down the street, looked at them in the wrong way, something like that. Did something completely normal, and the reaction is something totally unexpected. It just your normal experiences don't really prepare you to deal with the exceptional. So it's also hard to hard to deal with. I mean, how the fuck would you act with a person who acts unpredictably violently against in normal interactions? Yeah, he can be perfectly normal, and then he can just engage, violently attack you. You'd have to presume just that he can snap at any moment, so you'd have to take a lot of precautions. Constructed the Bailey. We have 9,500, so I don't think it matters what we produce. I'd like to produce things that produce resources for us from time to time. Merchants might not be a bad idea, at least one so we could sell all the excess crap. Weapons and armor merchants. Merchants to sell general goods in your great hall. Curio shop. Generates random creature parts. Chapel. Bonus to resolve upon resting. Resolve would help in conversations and everyone's endurance. Allows to purchase scrolls. That might be good in a way because It will allow you to basically arm yourself against harder fights. You'd have your own selection of spells, plus extra through scrolls. Training grounds, botanic gardens, random plants. Doesn't really allow you to sell things though. I'll take the creature part. Curio shop. Trades in oddball curiosities, allows you to purchase parts of exotic creatures and generates a random creature part every turn in the stronghold treasury. And since turns are basically time, the progressing in quests, so we probably should buy these as quickly as possible if we want to get any benefit from them. Is this my face? Maybe. That's not the person we're interested in. Thundering sky and rain of blood, innocents must drown. That's not it either. Ram. This man has the look in his eyes of a hunted animal, and at your approach he staggers backward to the far corner of his cell, halfway appearing as though he would climb the walls if it would get him further away from you. He cries out, a bizarre primal utterance like nothing you have heard. I need to ask you some questions. Graham looks at you blankly. It is unclear whether he understands you or not, but his panic has momentarily subsided. He opens his mouth to speak, but the words that come out are half-formed, as though his tongue were cut out. They are impossible for you to discern if indeed they are words at all. The mutilations of animancy, crueler than any torture, disfigure the soul. Let us return the favors of the animancers of this shit heap. There's no, he was like this before. Frail said you were being treated by Caedmon Azel. He looks at you with uncertainty. Slowly, tentatively, he steps closer to the front of his cell, and as he does so, for the first time you can perceive his soul within your ken. It is misshapen, as though maimed by some jagged instrument, and large expanses of it have been gouged out entirely. You feel no barriers of resistance. If you wanted to, you could look further into Graham's soul. Um, sure. You project out toward the maimed soul in front of you, merging with it. Its confusion and fear becoming yours as it whisks you into its depths. You're in your cell. A key turns. The door creaks open on neglected hinges. Thoughts come to you in waves, incomplete, broken, fearful. Standing at the door is a rotund, balding man. His upper teeth and pointy nose remind you of a rat. He beckons, apologetic. You don't want to go. Anything else. In your mind is a single word, and the word is no, but it dissolves before it reaches your lips. You press against the back wall, cornered. You cry out. In darkness, you fight against unseen restraints. You cannot move your arms or legs. The man walks into the room carrying a lit candle, its meager flame casting long shadows across books and machinery. Straps bind your arms and legs. Cold metal circumscribes the crown on your head and the breadth of your chest. The man is sorry. He is in need of raw materials. They dismantled his work and he needs another source. He needs to show them he was right. He thanks you. Then he turns a knob and you feel yourself begin to crack from within, and you can feel pieces of you torn away, like having your insides chewed by a horde of rats, and you are screaming a scream you can barely hear. Another night. Heavy footsteps outside your door, coming for you. You look through a slit in your door. The flesh giant, the artificial being, just outside, but facing left, facing the end of the hall. The boy there. The boy looks with interest at the giant, then collapses to the floor like a shed of snakeskin. Giant convulses for a moment, then rights itself, turns away and leaves. Bram looks at you, still wide-eyed but somehow more present. He nods at you, then walks back to the end of his cell. Man who waits. Right. A willowy adolescent boy stands in the center of this cell, gawkish and stoop-shouldered. He stares straight ahead, the occasional blink his only movement, and it is unclear whether he registers your presence at all behind his glassy, doll-like eyes. In this state, the barriers between your soul and his are thin and porous, easily bypassed if you should wish it. Well, we have to do something. You close your eyes and edge forward toward the boy's soul. As you near, a sudden malaise comes over you. You are cold and warm all at once, sweating and shivering and straining for breath, as you did on the caravan journey. The soul you approach is the wrong one, a parasitic plant that strangles its host. It is predatory and pitiless, and you have crossed paths with it before. Too late does it occur to you to retract, and already you feel yourself plunging into some interminable abyss of thought and memory. You are standing in a cell now, the same cell in the sanitarium. The halls are moonlit and empty, and you are waiting. At the far end of the ward the door opens, revealing a flesh golem in silhouette beneath the stone archway. It makes its usual rounds, the same stops every time, the misbegotten child of despondent creators. When the construct is close, you coil yourself up and spring forward, passing out of the boy's body as though it were a membrane. You can sense his body behind you collapsing to the floor, a puppet whose strings are cut. You are rushing toward the golem now, bodiless as a gust of wind. Quickly, you think to yourself. Quickly, and you feel the strength hemorrhaging from your soul as you dart toward the makeshift abomination. You pass into the golem's shell and overtake the soul implanted within, encircling it, suppressing it, and contained in this new vessel you are strong again. You step heavy-footed down corridors unheeded by the other constructs, and scrutinized only by the wary, untrustworthy eyes of the mad, coming at last to an office piled with books and scribbled papers, and the perverse implements of animancy. You set your oversized hands upon the large machines, a nest of globes and tubes and coils in the center of the room, and go to work, bending wires and unsettling alignments. Your surroundings are pulled past you. Perhaps you are pulled past them, and they dissolve into a blur. When they settle into place again, you are outside on a clear day, standing in front of a crowd stacked high above you on the tiered seats of an amphitheater. You are acting for the crowd, standing deliberately still, but this is no play. A balding man with rodent-like features is strapping you to a machine, the one you had tampered with. You see your arms for the first time, short and fleshy, unmistakably those of a little girl, but this body is not truly yours. Your mind still holds the same determination, the same hard-heartedness as before. The body itself is cold and vivacious, unlike the others. This one has no soul of its own. The man speaks and the crowd applauds with an enthusiasm worthy of a hero's entrance. "Bear witness," he says as he pulls a lever. The machine shivers and sparks, and a bead of sweat rolls down the side of the man's brow. But the crowd's apprehension quickly gives way to awe as the crystal globe fills with a radiant mist and that casts the entire theater aglow. He opens a valve and the glow crawls through a tube, along a length of copper wiring that runs to a set of electrodes beneath your armpits. You feel nothing when it reaches you, as it should be, for you have been leading his work astray periodically for some time, altering notes and sitting and playing puppeteer for Hallowborn. But you make it look how people would expect it to look when a body is infused with a soul. In a moment the machine goes dark and the man unstraps you, eyeing you with a scientist's concern. He looks back up at the crowd. "Behold," he says, but there's obviously hesitation in his voice. Slowly, you make a plodding step forward, then another, and another. You look up at the man, giving him the eye contact of which no Hallowborn is capable, and the crowd gasps. The man looks relieved. "How do you feel?" he asks at a volume meant for the crowd, and this is the moment. At the top of your lungs you let out a piercing shriek. The man comes toward you, his hands outstretched, but you run the other way, back to the machine. With all your strength you drive your head into the crystal globe, and it shatters, streaking your head with warm blood. You drive your head down onto the surface of the machine again and again, drawing panicked screams from the crowd, and by the time the man reaches you, your body has already ceased proper function and merely twitches on the cold ground. Satisfied, you depart the corpse in search of another unsuspecting host. Who could put their faith in animancy now? You are pulled again from your surroundings, transcending the boundaries of memories and lifetimes, deeper and deeper past betrayals and murders and lies upon lies that form the thick webbing of plots beyond mortal comprehension. You settle at last on a room you have seen before, expansive with a tall device encasing an Adra monolith at its center. The room is filled with people and the people all look at the device. You are yanked suddenly back to reality and the once catatonic boy in the cell is looking directly at you, appraising, calculating. There is no mistake now that it is the soul of the man who caused your awakening that gazes out from that borrowed husk. A watcher. Hmm. I believe we share a common past. I'm looking for some answers. Is that so? He makes no effort to hide his disinterest, but he continues to search your eyes. He makes a slight grunting noise, and his eyes soften for an instant, and it seems for that moment that he recognizes you. He opens his mouth to speak, then seems to think better of what he has to say, what he was about to say. His jaw tightens. I know your look, your hunger for answers that elude you. It gnaws at your soul. It usurps your reason for being. You are like everyone. I will help you let go. He dodges backward with startling grace, putting himself out of reach. On his face there is no malice, only the dispassion of a farmer putting down a sick animal. Then suddenly he slumps forward. Well, shit. Subdue Uskrim. I have discovered that the patient Uskrim has been possessed by the man I've been searching for. He must be subdued so I can learn from him how I might be able to undo my awakening. So why are they so keen on sabotaging animancy research? That gives us a reason to support it. They're trying to do something and they're trying very hard to stop everyone from figuring what they're doing, or at least learning more. Right, I have no idea how these... oh, they're vessels. Of course they are. He seems to be controlling that. I don't think we have to at least get rid of the flesh golems. Yeah, thanks. All our casters are here.
Braved out.
Face the patient. Why is Graham attacking us? Is he controlling them? Could we... Is this one of those situations where we could possibly kill him to get rid of the threat these guys possess? Yeah, please don't do that. Luckily, we don't have all our spellcasting power either. That's a caster. No idea what she is. Ugh. This could be a long fight. Still, I'm not getting my own ass kicked in order to save some lunatics, so yeah, we're definitely going forward to everything we got. I'm expecting... oh fuck, it's a druid. Oh, fuck. No idea what that even does. Right, it's just a clusterfuck at this point.
Hey.
I can't fight in a situation where basically they can just run through us and cause a huge amount of trouble. It won't work. What the fuck are you doing? Fight him if nothing else. We could summon skeletons. I don't think that's a particularly bad idea. Not sure how good they are, but I'm being flanked here pretty heavily. Right. Cleric can probably do something a bit more useful. Oh, the extra armor. Corrosive sight. You're totally incapable of navigating on your own. Oh, fuck. Alright, you're in trouble. We killed something at least, but we're getting flanked pretty heavily there. Flesh construct has to go. They're very easy to hit. A reflex too. Damage resistance is also fairly weak. Just fight something, I don't care. Flank him. Ooh, he's in trouble. Yeah, this is no good. Gonna get a lot of attacks of opportunity on them, but we're gonna die anyway if we stay. And they knocked me, so Kana is prone and pretty much fucked. I don't particularly care. It won't really make a difference in the overall things. Although, I think we're better off just systematically cutting these guys down. Yeah, we achieved something. You. Mm. Kill him.
That's it! Okay.
I don't want you to disengage, I want you to engage.
Oh?
Right. So, not too bad anymore. I think we'll be fine. Dirt Haywanestiness. So it improved. Deal 300 damage to dazed enemies to unlock the next level, or deal 1500 damage to enemies. Oh shit, so who wants to start casting daze on enemies? You'd have to basically farm this. I wonder what bit we get from that unlocking the next level. 10% chance to cast Dominate on hit or critical hit. Holy shit. Holy shit! It's a small chance, but You can affect your hit chance and critical hit chance. Dominate is the most powerful form of the mind control. For 10 seconds. Good accuracy effect too. The I think there's a combat effect in this. So Charm will turn someone to your ally, but they fight at reduced effectiveness. Dominate means they're going to fight at full effectiveness on your side. Right. Fight.
Following your lead.
Hey.
Nice and quiet.
Of course.
How the fuck am I going to subdue the son of a bitch? The chains grew with added weight. Crescent bite marks bit the edges of the cot. Bucket reeks of offal. Potion of infused with vital essence. Plus 50 max endurance, plus 50 max health for 45 seconds. Right. Good stuff. Not sure if everyone attacked us. Yeah, everyone did. How are we going to trap him? We get him to jump to some specific target very likely. Otherwise it'll just keep jumping from bodies to bodies and he'll never get captured really. Always continues to live on. I'm not sure how many larger fights we can handle. The area doesn't have a huge amount of flesh golems either, or a guard, so I think we're mostly fine. There might be one larger fight, but nothing beyond that. Right. Very low resistances, high fortitude, but that's all that shit has.
Hey. All right. Right then. Hey.
Wonder if we could daze this one. Probably immune to daze, right? No point in bothering.
Spot on!
Spot on indeed. Right, that's a rather a lot of range attack power we have.
All right then.
I think we need to talk to the experimenter here. See if he might be able to contribute something useful. He would be the one that could, I think. What have you done? You've been experimenting on patients against their will, mangling their souls. I witnessed it with my own eyes. This is not really the one thing I want to discuss now. Hazel's face drains of what little color it had. How could you possibly... Look, it had to be done. Esselmore and the others, they took everything from me. Everything when I was this close. I had to know where I failed and why. Imagine the value if I succeeded. I had something that could make all those hollow infants into something like a real person, and with a few more patrons and a few years' research, who knows? No one has come that close with the legacy. It's why I have to continue, why I have to risk everything here working in secret. It's why you have to lie to Ethelmore for me. Tell him you cleared me of all suspicion. We'll see. Uh, I yeah, his intentions might be good, but he's experimenting on patients against their will. So that's going too far. Yeah, I'm going to expose you for what you are. I'll say we'll see. We'll I'll probably going to expose him.
I trust that you'll do what's right for Deerwood. Don't hold everyone accountable for my mistakes.
You trust a mad dog to hunt for you? The man has little respect for his subject. It speaks ill of his dedication to the science. I didn't say I trust anything. I'm not going to let him get away with that, but this is more of a matter of
Let's see what lies
how do you present the thing
this
rather
way.
than are you going to expose him or not. It's like saying to your girlfriend that you've gained weight and you probably should lose it. It's a reasonable thing to express, but there are multiple ways to go about it. Some of them probably things you might want not to say. So this is more of a we want to get him out of this position where he is experimenting on the patients, but we also want to that's non-negotiable. But we want to limit the damage what it does. Treat it as him being the problem. I guess we're gonna just fight these, which aren't that bad anyway.
Brave thou Philadelphia.
No, they killed all the patients then. Come at me, bro.
Brave thou Philadelphia.
Here's a lesson to be taught.
You're not.
More wits.
Brave thou
Quickly go, little buggers.
Spot on!
Right. This was always more up. Didn't I loot this? It was always the main source of interest for
I shall
us.
be discreet.
A location we had no access to. I thought it was more of a secret area. That it. Well, extra area, totally worthless. You need to spend time here. I'm not
Hello?
sure. I think I'll steal the
Hello?
money. I mean, there's no one here to complain about this death anymore. Everyone's dead, so it doesn't matter anymore. This was always empty before. Maybe we'll have to use these devices. Forcefully remove him. Patience. Right, inform the head warden. I'm getting out of here. It's not safe anymore. Oh shit. Do I want to experience the game in different languages? Maybe. Either way, we'll report what happened. Oh, what the blazes happened down there? You were given permission to ask questions. Hmm. I had things under control until I killed the Leaden Key spy, at which point he possessed a flesh construct. You finish your explanation and Ethel Moore breaks his silence. I have read accounts of people in history who could do what you describe. Accounts are few and brief and never reliable. Some go as far as to suggest that they are all the same person. Truly such a person was here among us plotting our ruin. Would that I had a body again and could be of some real use in our time of need. I fear that the future may hold for this place. I'm grateful you were able to dispatch the threat before there was loss of innocent life. We very nearly had another scandal on our hands. What of Azo? What part did the experiments play in this catastrophe? Yeah, it's a hard choice in a way because Azo has to be reined in, but because he's obsessed with this thing now to the point where it's totally unacceptable. At the same time, he has been manipulated. So I don't want to say Azo's experiments would have eventually resulted in another scandal, which is true though. But so is every one of these options. The Leaden Key would have found a way to interfere with the sanitarium even without Azo. Also, Azo was only trying to help the patients. The Leaden Key took advantage of him. Uh, that's not exactly true though. That's a lie. He was trying to solve the bigger problem, but he even apologized to the patients because he knew what he was doing to them was wrong. So that would be a lie. The Leaden Key would have found a way to interfere with the sanitarium even without Azo. I feel that's a true statement. Your half answer suggests a bias, but it also suggests it's as close to the truth that I'll get from you. Cateman will remain here, but he will be monitored, and under no circumstances will he have access to any equipment. I think that's reasonable. The monitoring has to be done. There's just no way getting around that. Even if he can perform the experiments, I would think that his experiences would be helpful. My big problem with what happened here is that I couldn't tell him, Cademan, the Azo guy, that his why he failed initially was because of intentional sabotage. I mean, it seems like he was so hard trying to sort of find answers and what went wrong, and you could have just fucking told him you didn't really fuck up. The guy, the entire thing was sabotaged. Like you never had a chance. So it might not have been sort of a satisfying solution as far as he's concerned, or end point to his efforts to try a solution and deal with the problems he caused. But I feel it would have been at least something. He would have had an answer to that he didn't necessarily fucked up on his own. Nothing particularly went wrong there. It was he no matter what he would have done, it would have been failure because it was always intentionally sabotaged and manipulated. So it wasn't really his fault that he fucked up. It was someone else's fault. Maybe he would be a bit more reasonable, not so obsessive about his experimentation and research. So, so I'll leave things here. Uh, yeah. One thing done. Travel to Deerford Village. Find the tower. The tower is in the city, and we know where it is. So at least this is one we can also do here. And then there's a lot of these minor ones. Go to Edelwen Bridge. Find Darin's family. Retrieve stolen scroll. Abandoned farm on the path to Durford. I should go after this. Minor task. Yeah, and the endless paths. I've been away from there a long time. We could definitely take down the worm at this point, I'm sure about it. No, the Drake. Maybe delve a little bit further. Or at the same time, the ogres were at uh, what are we now? Level 6. So we're maybe one level higher. We have might be better equipment and I'm a bit better. But it's not a huge difference in our capabilities. The ogres were level 6. So the point being, enemies we encounter on the deeper levels will be of higher level, probably 7, 8. So we would want to be fairly close to that if we want to go challenging them. Yeah, level 8, level 9. Individual bosses being a little bit higher is not a problem, and it's probably going to be an increasingly less meaningful thing. It the being 4 levels higher is pretty meaningful when you're already at a low level. Higher level, it probably doesn't mean all that much. However, next level should mean new level spells for the witch casters, so it's a pretty important thing, and it's about 200 experience points away. So any minor quest will basically do it. It might not be a bad time to return to the maze for a level or two. Uh, what was the quest outside the city? The go after thieves. Some kind of scroll. Group of thieves has stolen a scroll of Veil from the Hall of Revealed Mysteries in Defiance Bay. The High Archivist Grimda wants me to track down the thieves and recover the scroll. And we need some kind of favor from the Archivist anyway, so if we do this, that might be exactly what we get. We need to get to the... I don't recall the name. Where the more valuable scrolls and books are stored. Abandoned farm on the path to Durford. Ford is a area to the east, right? And we have something in Durford village. Maybe the gorge too, Searing Falls. So that takes us. Yeah, I'm not doing that. We have reasons to go there later on, surely, but don't want to go there now. Not sure if that's a bad idea though. Similarly to like visiting this town the first time, we might get new people and a lot of quests, and it might have some synergies with things like here, open up new options. So maybe we shouldn't dismiss it. Right, but I'd like to get the level up before heading into the endless maze. Don't want to take the chance that we'll have to do a lot of important things there before we can do anything useful. So, something minor in the city. Cave from Fergus Vision. Scrivener's Dormitory. Meet with Viana, a student of animancy. She's compiled the research that should enable Dunstan to finish the Forge Knights. Cliver said that she lives in the dormitory with the other Scriveners, but his novitiates haven't been able to find her lately. Built to last. Right. Something small like that. Find a missing person. How hard could it be? Who's Nedin? Oh shit.
Hail and well met.
Danret Row Messenger. Beg your pardon, I have a message for you. You are summoned to Hadrat House, where Lady Webb wishes to meet with you as soon as possible. The head of Danret Row's spy network. Palagina's eyes narrow. Why would she be looking for you? Tell me about Lady Webb. Do you not know Lady Webb? She's... well, no one's seen her, exactly, in a long time. She's the mistress of Danret Row. Has been for as long as anyone can remember. He pauses, eyeing passers-by with suspicion. Quietly he continues. She's supposed to be old, older than anybody, and She never leaves her room. Some say she's wasted away and she's just a pile of bones kept animated by dark magics. She's still at it, best anyone can tell, learning things, keeping us safe, pulling the strings behind the throne too, it's said. Has a ring of ciphers doing her bidding, telling her everything that goes on. You do wrong in this country. Before you go asking the gods for forgiveness, best you ask Lady Webb first. Where can I find Hatred House? It's just over there, my lord. At the southwest corner of Brackenbury. You will find the lady upstairs. Very well. Well, at least we don't have to figure out what to do now, do we? Oh, fuck me. As you near the apparition, you are overcome suddenly by a powerful anxiety that sits like a stone in your stomach. The feeling is not quite real, the recollection of an emotion rather than the emotion itself. It wrenches your insides nevertheless. Apparition's brow is tensed, a look of concern playing across its face.
The other missionaries say you have been neglectful of your duties.
My mind has been elsewhere.
Oh? And what troubles you?
The pain in your stomach deepens, and you feel for a moment as though you are about to be sick. Your mouth has gone dry. Forgive me, Eminence. I wish to leave the order. The man folds his fingers together and presses them to his mouth thoughtfully.
You have been an apt student, and your convictions have inspired those around you. May I ask what has changed to make you feel this way?
The people we intended to convert, they committed unspeakable acts, sacrifices, mutilations. Apparition exhales slowly, and its lips press together, a sympathetic rapport in its eyes. It places its hands on your shoulder.
These are the ways of the heathen world.
Only the gods would do better to destroy us all and start anew.
Perhaps they would. It may come to that one day. This is why we must not fail. The heathens are beyond the gods' reach. They do not know better. We are tasked with delivering them to the gods, so that the gods may heal their souls.
Is such a thing possible?
I have seen it with my own eyes. You will see it too, if you choose to remain. There is no greater calling than the one we have chosen. Neither words, nor wealth, nor battle will end this suffering. Only the gods. Will you give them that chance?
The knot in your stomach seems to loosen all at once, and the anxiety is replaced with something else entirely, something warm and soothing, and it is something you know you can never repay. As the vision fades, you start to become cognizant of the many odd looks aimed in your direction. The last response echoes in your mind. I will. Okay. Probably should rest too. Worries for another time.